Hey, finally, connection.
I know,
I
right?
like putting the spotlight on you. This is going to
Huh?
be fantastic. So, this is going to be fantastic. So, let me tell you how I roll. I am
Okay.
very unscripted and very organic. So, don't be surprised.
Okay.
Everything is brushed with humor and everything is done in love.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
you're extraordinary in a lot of ways. And I want to pick your brain about a few things. I've been doing this stuff a minute. And I love the LGBTQ A to Z community. I love it so much. I wish there weren't acronyms. I think people should be able to just be in the moment, in the experience, and love who they love them deeply, love them for as long as it lasts. And then if you got to move on, but move on with civility. So that's my position about this love thing based on gender. But I do know that we're a society that is, for some reason, we have to put a title and acronyms to everything. It makes me bonkers. I'll never forget someone saying, "Well, how do you identify?" I said, "Beyond being a woman, beyond being what? I mean, what do you mean? How do I identify?" And they say, "Oh, your sexual orientation, your gender identity, blah, blah, blah." I said, "You know what? You're speaking Greek to me. You really are." So I've interviewed a lot of people who get it better than I do. All I know is that I'm deeply in love with the woman who lays next to me. And I really don't know how to define it other than that's who I love. And when I love somebody else very deeply, then I love them as deeply as I loved her. However, what has been perplexing is some questions I want to explore with you because you're doing some things that I find requires a lot of courage, first of all. Not only are you a exceptional speaker who's passionate, you've also successful as an actor, motivational speaker, an activist, and uh, and you also walking in your truth. You don't have a problem with saying, "Well, listen, you know, I'm attracted to men and women, and if you want to call that bisexual, so what? Then that's what you need to call it. If you need a title to it." But I have a lot of respect for someone that has the courage to walk in their truth because the LGBTQ to A to Z community and people who identify on that spectrum has not been welcoming of the B.
Mhm.
They all shoot the B into the acronym. I don't know why, because if you're not going to accept the B, then why is it there? So let's start by letting listeners know a little bit about your bio, and then we're gonna move right into the Q&A. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
All right. So talk to me.
Well, it's always difficult for me when people ask me to talk about me, my bio. First and foremost, I'm a leading edge lover. And that's something I came up with, which is I'm a person that loves unconditionally. So acronyms, labels, titles, even when it comes to identity, as yes, I'm an author, yes, I'm an actress. I've been doing the speaking thing probably since I was about 7 or 8. And the performing thing, it just kind of happened naturally. I think it started at the age of 4 in pre-K when I decided to moon the class because I wanted to get a rise out of the rest of the students. So I've always been performing as well. But so I'm a mother. When I talk about me, my bio is that, I am trained as a certified personal trainer. I am what they consider to be a dream coach as well as a purpose counter coach, which, those are things.
Dream coach and a purpose coach. We'll get into that.
Yes,
Please
we'll get into that. And it's interesting because I say those things and then I tell people don't count those things as worthy of anything. However, this is my bio. Um, and so I don't know. It's kind of hard when people ask me to just, talk about, my bio. I've done some things. I've done many things. My acting coach said that when I first started working with him, Ernie McClintock, who started a company in Harlem called Jazz Actors Theater. Well, Jazz Actors Theater was what was started in Richmond, but he came out of Harlem. And when I was in his acting class and then he got to know me, he was like, "You are many things." And yeah, I am. And I think we all are many things. I have just decided that I am going to embrace all of them. And sometimes they all come out at the same time. I think that's probably why I write, because it gives me the opportunity to get all of this stuff out of my head.
Okay. So I think when someone would say that you're made for this, they zero in on your confidence. You're exceptionally confident, and that probably comes through, yeah, in your speaking. It comes through when the camera is on you. So that's obvious. Um, as an actor, let's stay with that a minute. As an actor, you have to portray various roles in your acting repertoire. Have you acted in a scenario where you had to be intimate with a woman on film?
Not yet. Not yet. There's a script that I'm working on right now that involves me having to do that. And so actually I'm looking forward to it. I have had to become intimate with a male, but I've never done it on film with a female.
Okay. Is that a part now? When you say you identify as bisexual, and I don't believe, because I've seen lots of actors who have had intimate relationships with the same gender and it was acting for them. If you are an individual that connects physically, emotionally, and sexually with both genders, do you think that would make it easier for you to portray those roles, or is it still just challenging in terms of calling on your creative juices?
It's always challenging because being bisexual is just a part of who I am.
Mhm.
Being intimate on film with somebody that's not my partner, it doesn't matter what the gender is, it's going to be a bit challenging because I don't know this person well enough to, to be that way with them. So it doesn't make it easier. I mean, as an actor, we play a role. And as a human being, I love who I love and I'm intimate with who I choose to be intimate with. But it doesn't matter the gender, it's still going to be a challenge because it's not my partner.
Right.
So it will always be a challenge. But I enjoy challenges. I look for roles actually that will push the envelope and force me to get out of my comfort zone. Because you spoke about my confidence. And the reason that I've become so confident is because I've been so not confident before in my life. I was very introverted growing up. I was very shy. I was the fat kid. I was the kid that people picked on, even in my family, I was always the fat one. So it's like my confidence came with me taking a position at some point in my life where I was like, you know what, I'm just going to be me. And I don't know, I think innately, and I'm going to say this, and people probably will get upset, but I think bisexual people are the leading edge lovers of the world. I think we have come here to help people to be unconditional in how they love and to show people how to do this thing. How
Ah,
to just, face challenges and stand up and just do it. Because once I got past that whole aspect of being called fat or you're not good enough, I went through a lot of challenges to get to where I am. My walk hasn't been easy. We all have a walk. But mine hasn't been, what you see now is a compilation of a lot of stuff. And I'm going to say stuff. Can I curse on here? Because I curse sometimes. But I think it's a family friendly environment. But
you
a lot of stuff.
cuss. Some people can't cuss because it sounds crazy coming out of their mouth, but you, my dear, you can cuss.
Okay, all right. Because I mean, it's some stuff, some stuff that has transpired. But I welcome it all because it's made me who I am today. So, and that's part of the platform that I speak on, which is to help people to get outside of their comfort zone, help you to get unstuck in your life, and you can be stuck when you have bullying to deal with and you're emotionally stuck. There are ways that you can come up out of that. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. And I hate sometimes when people say, well, you make it look so easy to be you. No, it's not. It's really not easy. But once you get there, it becomes easier. It's like anything, it's like a muscle. The more you practice it and the more you use it, the better equipped it becomes. And that's how a person, your body, your mental, that's what it's all about.
Okay, so a question: why love and sexual freedom? Why is that your thing? And at one point in your life, coming from someone who says they were introverted, they were bullied, you would imagine that that person would still be pretty introverted. And at what point did you have that shift that says, you know what, this is where I'm going to claim my purpose, claim my confidence, and my thing, is love and sexual expression and freedom. When did that happen for you?
Well, I have this thing that I say, some people say, well, in the script from Color Purple, all my life I had to fight. All my life I had to love. Love was something that was innate in me. I wanted it from my parents. And I think because of the challenges that I had, I wanted it even more. So I embraced the love that came to me, even when it came to being in high school and, having sex prematurely. Because I was looking for love. All my life, I wanted love. I wanted love. And so in that process, I not only attracted some situations that weren't so good, but I attracted some that were great. And I've had some great loving relationships in my life. So taking on the platform of speaking about love, with love separate from sex right now, but love, it just seemed kind of innate with me because I think because I was so desirous of it, when you feel it and you know it, you want to give it away. And I see where when people have that love from the inside out, everybody becomes happy in the process. And then if we want to take it a step further with the platform of speaking on love from the bisexual perspective, and I talk about sexuality and the intimacy of it too. The love and sex, what is more fantastical in the expression of caring for someone when you're being intimate with them? I mean, to me, that's the closest to spiritual, to the godly aspect of their spirituality you can get when you're in a loving relationship. Somebody's giving it, you're receiving it, and you're sharing it. I mean, everybody who's ever experienced that, it's like being in heaven. So for me, it's like a part of me that connects to that God-centered space, if you will. My spirituality is connected directly to my sexuality. And I feel that and I believe that.
So you've taken that from, shall I say, the bedroom, from a private space into a public space. What's that like when you're on stage and you're speaking before dozens or even hundreds of people and you bring this topic to that platform? How is that received, and what are some of the questions that, or maybe some of the naysayers that get fired at you?
Oh, wow. Well, the naysayers, I've been fortunate enough not to have too many naysayers because the audiences I've been before, they were already open, because I tell people, when they want to bring me in, they already know what I'm going to talk about. So prepare your people for what it's going to be or not be, because I kind of base it, I feed off of the people. So I can go, like I was asking you about saying curse words, sometimes I can have a potty mouth. But if I go in certain environments, I know I need to not have that. So I know how to switch it up. That's the acting aspect of my training, I guess, but also just not want to offend people because my objective is not to push you away. I want to have the conversation. So if you are a naysayer, and I've had people to say, well, you're just greedy and you guys just don't know what you want and there's no such thing as that. And I stop them and I listen to them and then I have a conversation and I ask questions. Well, what makes you think that? What makes you think that you were created the way that you were created and you're perfect and there's nothing wrong with who you love, but God didn't create me that way? If you believe in God, let's say you don't. Do you think the universe only chose some certain people to be the perfect people in the world? Everybody, even with our differences and in our flaws and all of that, we were all created as being perfect beings. Our imperfection makes us perfect. So I have a right to be here just as much as you do. Now, what really hits me with the audiences, like when I was in Winston-Salem for the National Black Theater Festival, a young lady and her parents walked over to my table and I could tell the young lady, she was 14, she had been crying. And so her mother whispered in my ear and she said, she wants me to tell you thank you because she came out to us, I think they said like maybe 2 or 3 months prior. And she's so happy that somebody is having the conversation. And she was so choked up that she couldn't tell me herself. Now, she had her mother and her father. And the surveys that I've done in schools, even though there's still a lot of bullying, there's a lot of stuff going on, sexuality is becoming more fluid for our teens and their youth. I'm a little concerned on one side and I'm happy on the other. I'm concerned on one side because I think a lot of it is experimentation. And then they try things and they realize that's not what they want, but you've already given yourself over to the sexuality of it. So that's going to be an ongoing thing that we have to work with in our youth. Don't give it up too soon. I mean, I'm just saying, there is a point where you need to hold back a little bit. But in exploring it and being open to the conversations, I'm glad that it's happening, because when I see a 14-year-old excited or she wasn't sad, she was happy that somebody was talking about something she could relate to as an adult, as an adult having a conversation. So my audience is, I've had those people, that would come at me like real hard too. And even in relationships, somebody find out, when they say, hey, what is your preference? And I say, well, I don't have a preference. Immediately, some people get upset. They feel threatened because they're like, well, you with me and you're like guys. Like, well, you're looking at this female. How do I know you might not leave me for her? I'm like, how does anybody know that anybody might not leave them for somebody else? I'm with you. It's not your body parts that make you who you are. It's what I am attracted to that's you. And don't get me wrong. Some bisexual people have, we have a lot of people who prefer to have both in their lives. More power to them. I can't manage me half the time. I don't know how I could manage a couple of relationships, but I wasn't designed that way.
I like that. I like that answer. So talking about adolescence, and it's a really you're vulnerable. You're an adolescent. You're trying to figure this stuff out. You're figuring yourself out. Um, some of the things we don't talk about with our adolescents, and we don't have the open conversation. We don't talk about too often masturbation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very pro masturbation, by the way, and we talk about the gender expression, and we'll talk about how you may be feeling and your body evolving, and some of the awkwardness around that, and we talk about the heterosexual cisgender connectivity and what that would. But to say that there is also other ways you may be feeling, you have a 12-year-old says, "Well, I like her and I like him," and how does a parent, or would you say that a parent could possibly begin to try to just be open and objective to allowing that type of expression? Because I think we've gotten a little bit closer to expressing same gender love. We've gotten a little closer to expressing trans love, but have we gotten closer to expressions of bisexuality?
I don't think we've gotten close to those discussions. A lot of people want to think, and you said something earlier about how the B is in there, but the B is not like really represented or embraced as much as the other. And if I was to look at statistics, and certainly a lot of times I don't, because I think it's kind of skewed. But in this case, the statistics show that 52 or more percent of the LGBTQ community is bisexual. Now, how can you have such a high number within that population, but then you don't see us? And you don't see us because of the lack of places where we feel comfortable in being able to express it. As a parent who has a child who is, I was that child that was like, okay, I didn't know what to call it. I just knew that I liked boys and girls, if you will. It's that whole binary aspect of male and female is a problem. I have a problem with that because I think categories, again, is what is creating all of this craziness. But I was attracted to both. And so inside of me, I felt like something was wrong. So at that point, being adolescent, I didn't know how to talk to my parents about it because we're in the church. We're not supposed to be like talking about sexual feelings, because my libido got a little excited from both, but how do you have that? So as a parent now, there's more out there now for you to read on the internet to try to figure out how to have these conversations. But the first thing that is important is to let that child know that however they're feeling, it's okay. Because I think for the most part, we just want to know that there's nothing wrong with us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because we don't see us represented a lot as in conversation, because we're out there, but we're not waving flags, or we're a little bit more hidden than everybody else. But because they don't see that, I think a parent needs to pay attention to their child and be like, just let them know that you love them, and whatever is going on or however they feel, that it's okay.
Okay.
And then get some education so you can have the conversation with them about what they may be feeling.
Okay. So speaking of the us in the equation, and let's talk a little bit about acceptance as it relates to race, people of color. Do you find in your tours and the individuals you talk to that people of color are a little bit more less accepting of the identity that would be bisexuality versus people who happen not to be people of color, let's just say? Um, no differently than anything else, I can say that I do find that people of color uh, typically are less open and accepting of LGBT across the spectrum. And then you add the B into the equation. I would imagine that's even more difficult. So, what have you experienced?
You're absolutely correct. It's the same. And the thing that really, I have a conference coming up in April. It's called the We Are One Conference. And my topic is dealing with intersectionality of sexual identity, race, politics, and I throw fame and anything else you want to throw in there. But one of the things that the reason they selected me was because I am talking about bisexuality, because they get so many people writing in saying they don't feel African American, bisexual women who are not feeling comfortable in spaces where they're lesbian. They feel, and they specifically said lesbian. And I'm like, okay, now I had a speaking engagement a few weeks ago with a group of, I didn't know it was going to be all lesbian. I asked the question, anybody bisexual other than me? I'm the only one that raised my hand. I said, okay. So, but what I find is that we are African American in our culture. We are it's always the boot on somebody's neck.
Mm-hmm.
And we do it. We perpetuate that within our culture. And yeah, it's even harder when I go into spaces where there are more Europeans. They're like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, and then I go in the spaces with with African Americans, and it's different. And I think it really translates to what we have experienced as a race, and especially in how we have been constantly divided, and it doesn't stop in the LGBT community. I would think that we will be more inclusive, but not. I had a sister to tell me, a sister that I respect highly, and if I mention her name, everybody would know her here. But when I told her about my book, Download Sister on Top, Celebrating the African American Bisexual Woman, I was just telling her that I was writing a book. She had inspired me to write way back when. She's a phenomenal writer. And her response back to me was, that's not my issue. That's not my concern, because there are lesbian women being beat down that I have, and I'm paraphrasing, that have more, I have more concern for. I wasn't looking for her to wave a flag. I just was sharing with her the project that I was working on, which she inspired. That hurt me. That was like 2012, 2013. But, I've gotten over it because I'm like, because I am who I am, people have a right to like me, hate me, love me, whatever. You have a right to it. I don't have to accept it. I'm going to love you anyway. I'm going to love you at a distance.
Okay. So right now, I don't want to hog you. I've been hogging you, but you got some fans on LesBe Real Radio Talk.
Okay.
So I'm gonna hit you up with questions from the fans. All right. So we got Jenise Unleashed. We want to know, how does it feel? And we're sure you get this question. You don't look gay. How do you address that?
What does gay look like? I'm still trying to figure out what gay looks like. I had someone tell me the cover of my first book wasn't gay enough. I said, do I need to put a rainbow on there? What? What does gay look like? Yes, I do get that question asked of me on occasion. And I just say, what does gay look like? Really? I mean, we have stereotypes for people. We gotta stop. We gotta stop buying into those stereotypes. That's why my new book, World Domination 101, it talks to you about getting away from your identity and just embracing the self. And once you do that, it won't matter what gay looks like. People just love people. Thanks for that question, though.
Awesome. All right. Here's another question. From everything I can tell, you seem very grounded and balanced. How do you keep the balance with everything that you do?
I drink a lot. No. I just, the balance comes from me. What I do, I am very physical. So I go to the gym faithfully because the body's designed to move and it helps for my blood to flow, the energy to flow, everything to be, moving along to keep me from stressing. As far as the grounding itself, the solid aspect of who I am, it just comes from me connecting to that power that creates universes. I know that I was created from the same energy that creates universes. I tell myself that. I used to say it every day. I have post-its, if I could show you, around my vanity, things that I have posted up and removed and all of this stuff, because sometimes I have to remind myself that I came from an energy that creates universes. And knowing that, it's like, wow. Wow. It keeps me from freaking out. And then the other thing is, I know that, there are, I have a purpose here. We all have come here with a purpose. And in order for me to be able to fulfill it, I need to be grounded. I need to stay connected. And, yes, I meditate, I pray, I do all of those things as well, because that keeps my spirit fed. As I give it out, I get it back.
Okay. We've got Shamira Charles that says, love everything about you. I totally live by your advice.
Awesome. Thank you. I
Yeah.
love you too, Samira.
Oh boy, we got comments coming in. I'm slow. I'm slow on the uptake. No disrespect to our listeners out there. Like I said, I'm trying not to hog her. But
That's why they hug me. I'm really enjoying this. Thank you for having me on here, by the
yeah,
way.
you're getting some crazy love out here. Um, you're getting comments about your video feeds. What's next? Um, Comments about I am not my lover's keeper. Wow. Uh, can you expand more on what inspired you to do that?
Well, actually, am not my lover's keeper. Well, one of the things in my book I deal with is taking responsibility for yourself. We have um, we put too much responsibility or blame on other people. People can be at fault for certain things, but you're responsible for your reaction and what you do. So taking responsibility was the thing. And there was a friend, I was reflecting on actually a situation that happened to me. I'd gotten all excited about going out and it didn't happen. And I was like, I got mad, and I made that phone call and I was like, how, after I hung up, because they, flaked on me. Then I called back irate. It was like just beating me down. And then after I got off the phone, I felt so bad because, sometimes when you go off on people, you feel like they really deserve it. But if you have any type of, what do you call, compassion or anything, you feel a little bit bad about it, even though you might not admit it. I felt really bad. And so one of the things that I've learned in my work and in my practice being just staying connected and grounded, is that, you can't hold people accountable for your stuff. It's not their stuff. They may be to blame for it. You might get, somebody could punch you in the face, and yes, it's their fault they punch you in the face. If you hit them back and you both go to jail, you're responsible for hitting them back. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not always pretty, but you have to take responsibility for yourself. So yeah, that actually happened to me at some point. Somebody stood me up. I was mad.
It isn't so. Oh my goodness. Here's a comment about to read or not to read. Wow. My goodness, this one's got a lot of comments. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. A lot of people say that they can identify with what you were sharing. Love the way you delivered that message. Okay, we got people trying to hit you up. No, she's not giving her phone number out on this radio station. You're going to have to hit her up on private messages. Love the afro. Love your look. So these are just comments. A lot of people may be shy to hit you up with a question. There's no dumb question, guys. Bring it, bring it, bring it. Class act.
I find that a lot. People are pretty shy when they'll inbox me or email me before they will, let other people know. Even when I'm selling books when I've been sometimes, people want to buy the book, but they don't want to let people see them buying the book. It's weird. It's not so weird though.
You need to get a brown paper bag.
I know, exactly. I got a whole nother plan for the new book though.
The brown paper bag, your books. Oh my goodness. Love that. Oh, do you have, oh, this is about your singing. Very nice voice. Have you recorded?
I haven't recently recorded for any, studio or anything, but I'm working on it. I do have a company that I'm looking to start working with. I've been writing. I used to sing with a band a long time ago, like several bands, and then I did church stuff and weddings, and people that call me for funerals. Like, I don't really turn stuff down because I love using my voice. But one of the things about recording, though, that I'm one of those rock stars who like the idea of being a rock star, but there's a lot of work that goes into that. And so when it came down to the rehearsals and I was like, I don't want to do this. It's too much work. It's easier for me to do the acting stuff, but I love to sing and I don't ever not want to do it. So an opportunity for me to do that and go in and record my own stuff and work with them, I was like, sure, because I'm at a point in my life now that I have the time to put in the work to do it, and I love doing it.
Awesome. Okay, so on wrap up, I know you've got a book in the hopper. What's your anticipated release, and how's that going?
You write also, don't you?
Yes, I do. It's don't even get me started. This is your moment.
My writing head and my acting head and my singing head, they're so different, because writing is just, everything else I do is out there. So the book is scheduled to be released February, sometime in February. But I don't think that's going to happen. I will find out tonight after I get off this call. Because one of the things that has happened in the process is there's more stuff that I want to add. There's more things that I want to give to my readers. And I don't want to put it out before it's time. I don't want to halfway do this. My first book I self-published, and I absolutely love it. It was my first project. It was a labor of love. There are some things about it that could have been done a little bit differently. And I don't want to repeat those mistakes with the new book, which one of the things was I rushed it.
Okay.
People love it. It was good. I rushed it. But one of the things I will be doing is I have been taking pre-orders. Some people are going to have the privilege of getting the ebook before other people get the actual hard copy. So there are some things I will be posting in the very near future with regards to getting a copy of the book. But I see a fall release, as opposed to, February. That's a few months, but we'll see with the publishing and everything. So
In time for the holidays. That makes sense.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
that's going on. And oh well, in April I'll be in North Carolina for the We Are One conference. I'm excited about that. Um, and what else? There's some other stuff going on too. I always forget. It's like, oh, I just created something. Hmm?
We have got to get your schedule so that we can put it up on our website as well as on our social media pages because we got some stalkers want to know where you are and what you're doing.
And yes, 38 city tour. How can I forget that? Hey, you guys, March the 3rd begins my 38 city tour with Black Expo America. I don't know if I'm going to hit all the cities I can because I'm a part of the team now. They hired me on to do that. So I'll be going starting in Fredericksburg, DC, then Baltimore, then we go to Vegas, then we come back to Philadelphia, and then we got Connecticut. So yes, I got to get that schedule on there, and I will have that tomorrow. Actually, yeah. So I haven't talked a lot about it because it's one of those things where they say they want you, but until I see the dotted line, I don't really know. But yes, it's on. So 38 cities. Coming to a city near you. What I will probably do, I'll be speaking as well as hosting some breakout sessions. But also, I am going to do some things in those cities where people who follow me, if you're there, I'm going to have an event. You can come hang out and we'll have a good time. So that's what's going on. So, yes, I just remember that. I'm glad you asked me.
Awesome, awesome. We're going to welcome you here in Philadelphia. Well, of course, you're going to need a big facility because we're going to go all out for you. Red carpet, purple carpet, all of that.
Yes, I love you. I love you. Thank you so much. You are amazing, by the way.
You are amazing. You definitely are a joy to work with. You're a joy to host on this show. Loving bringing your energy, your wisdom to our community at large. I say there's room in this world for all of us, quite frankly. Our
Yes.
spiritual heavens don't make mistakes, and absolutely they made no mistake with you. So, on wrap up and closing, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that Jenise, aka Jenise Unleashed, aka Jenise Justice Brown, you have all her contact information in terms of safely being able to communicate with her through her website. And we're definitely looking forward to hosting you here again on LesBe Real Radio Talk. Got any closing remarks, my love?
I love you all. Thank you for supporting me. Even those of you who are out there, I know you have questions and you don't ask them, but I feel the love. I absolutely feel it because that's how I get to do what I do, and I'm going to keep doing it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.